in the newspapers that we have passed a food security bill. Ultimately, nobody is going to accept it.
And the National Advisory Council promises us all kinds of fancy promises are being made. I frankly don't believe anybody these days. And the Prime Minister and the government opposes the National Advisory Council and waters down every suggestion that they make. So I'm personally very apprehensive. I'm not at all encouraged or enthused by the idea of this bill. I'm not sure. If a good bill comes, it will be a good thing, but I am very skeptical that this government will ever do something for its people.
But merely declaring a legal right will not ensure that the structural causes of hunger and undernutrition will be automatically addressed. For problems like landlessness, joblessness, and low income, the right to food needs to be linked with other economic and social rights, such as the right to education, work, information, and health.
The National Food Security Bill that is coming up is only talking about entitlements. It should be rechristened as National Food Entitlement Bill. Now, the purpose of any food security legislation in India should encompass a whole lot of other policy changes that is required to make those structural changes that would at least ensure that there is food available for everyone at all times to come. Now, that is not happening. If you look at the NSC draft, it only makes customary or cosmetic noise about in the last chapter about what needs to be done to agriculture, which is also only a limited portion of agriculture. Agriculture and food security and household food security that you are talking about actually goes much beyond. It has to be linked with trade, it has to be linked with Walmart's entry into India or the entry of FDI retail, it has to be linked with the financial policies, it has to be linked with seed policies, it has to be linked with, name it. But that is not at all being addressed. Now, unless we do that, we will never be able to address that issue which looks food security or hunger much beyond entitlements. Now, those policy changes can come. What we need in this country is a zero hunger program. Zero hunger program should encompass all those policy changes. In fact, this should become the pivot or the central theme of which all policies should be designed.
The issue of food security is compounded by the fact that concerted efforts have been lacking to undertake land reforms, give communities rights over natural resources, and address the structural causes of poverty. Nourishing, nutritional food is essential for a life to survive. For millions of hungry Indians, the battle for survival is far from over. The way to reduce the conflict between democracy and inequality is to reduce inequality rather than dilute democracy. It is more likely that food insecurity will give rise to enormous social and political conflict, which have already created conditions like undeclared civil war. As long as deaths due to malnutrition and starvation occur in the country, no government can bask in the claim that India is a shining economy.